it's Alisha here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the difference between being selfish and honoring yourself, because there really is a huge difference between these two things. The energy of the two is completely different. And first I want to talk about why people seem selfish in the first place. And there's a few reasons for this. It's usually because on some level they feel a sense of lack or inadequacy or a fear of feeling certain emotions. So the way that this can show up could be that you maybe have someone in your life who won't share things with you, or they will not ever offer to pay for you or buy something for you. They seem maybe a little bit cheap. Well, that's because they have a fear of lack. They feel like they won't have enough, that there isn't enough to go around for everybody. So that's why they are afraid to share or afraid to spend money on someone else, because then they feel like they will have less, because they really don't realize that they are fully resourced. They're infinitely resourced and there is enough to go around for everybody. Another reason could be that they feel really inadequate. So maybe they don't want to share something that they have because that thing that's theirs makes them feel really good about themselves, and they don't want it to be ruined, or they don't want to lose it, or whatever it might be. It could be that their external or material things make them feel really good about themselves and they don't want to lose that or to have that be ruined in some way. So it can come off as them being kind of selfish, but to them it almost feels like a sense of safety. And it could also be that these people don't want to feel their emotions. So they might think that it's putting themselves first to maybe stop talking to someone or to not go to some event or whatever it might be. But are they doing that thing to honor themselves, or are they doing that thing so that they don't have to feel a certain emotion? There is a difference. So if you think about it, I'll use the example of, let's say your family wants you to drive them somewhere. For some reason you only have one car and they need you to drive them somewhere, but you have somewhere you need to be, or you just don't feel like it, or whatever it might be. So you could fall into the trap of that there is only two solutions here, that you either do this thing for them or you don't do this thing for them. And if you don't do this thing for them, you might be being selfish, or you might be honoring yourself. I'll get into the difference of that in a second. Or you will be doing something for the other person, but you might be regretting it or dreading it or be bitter about it or resent it, and you think that those are the only two options. But those are not the only two options. There doesn't need to be a problem in the first place where you feel the need to put yourself first, or you feel the need to put your family first. There's no real reason to put anyone first. When you honor yourself, it creates the most for you and everyone around you. And that doesn't mean in a selfish way, like put yourself first and then everyone else is going to be fine. It means truly honoring yourself in the equation of your life. So using the example of driving your family somewhere, if you're feeling really tired that day and it just doesn't feel like something that you want to do, but your family really needs a ride, and you don't want them to maybe take the bus or whatever, or take a cab or whatever it might be, I would invite you, if the two solutions that you currently have in your mind feel heavy, driving them when you don't feel like it, or staying home but then maybe feeling guilty about it, I would invite you to surrender to the third option, that there is a higher solution available. And when you relax and surrender, then that solution can exist. And I've talked about this in a few of my videos about how this works. It's like the saying by Einstein that the solution doesn't exist in the same state of mind as the problem got created. So the problem that's showing up in your life right now that makes you feel like you need to maybe be selfish and put yourself first, it's showing up for a reason. It has to do with the state of consciousness that you're in. So if you're able to come into a higher state of consciousness, a higher harmonic, where you're more relaxed, you're more at peace, that's when the solution can actually exist. The one that doesn't come to your mind, the one where someone else offers to drive your family somewhere, or you're like, you know what, I'll just pay for an Uber and then maybe I'll pick them up later when I've taken a nap. Like a whole other solution that you didn't even think of can exist when you just relax and surrender. And that was because you honored yourself. You were like, what do I need right now in this moment? And you were too tired maybe to drive your family. So when you honor yourself and when you surrender to your emotions and come into a state of neutrality, then the solution can exist and it really creates the most for you and for everyone around you. And usually when someone feels like they need to be selfish in a certain situation, it's because they have like a strong feeling or a strong opinion about something, and therefore they're living in duality. So they may feel like, oh, there's no way that I'm gonna spend time with that person or go to that event or be around those people or whatever it might be. Whatever that thing is that makes you have that strong opinion, because you're living in a state of duality, like that something's good or bad or right or wrong. But if you can come into a state of neutrality, then you can move through your own emotions and embrace what is, remembering that it's just energy, whatever it is that's triggering you, and you can move through those emotions, and that is what's going to create the most for you and for everyone around you. So you might think that not spending time with someone or not talking to someone or distancing yourself from someone is you putting yourself first, and that's what's most important. And you might be not thinking about the feelings of the other person. So it's important to come into a state of awareness for what is going on for you and what is going on for this other person. And to realize that you might be doing this because you don't want to feel your emotions that this person brings up in you. So that wouldn't actually be honoring yourself. Honoring yourself would be tuning in, asking your body, what are you feeling right now and what do you truly need? And not trying to come up with a solution from your mind, but really trying to tune into what does your body need right now? Why do you feel the need to distance yourself from this person, to not go to this thing, to make whatever change you're making on the outside that feels like putting yourself first? Why do you feel the need to do that? What emotions is it bringing up in you? And I invite you to move through those emotions and move through your own triggers. And I have a few separate videos about this, about why we're triggered by people or events in the first place and how to move through your emotional triggers. So I will put a link to those in the description. So I hope you can see the difference between being selfish and honoring yourself. So you'll be able to feel it by the energy you're putting into this decision that you're making. Do you feel like, oh, there's no way I'm going to do that thing? And you feel a strong feeling about it, a strong opinion about it, and you're living in duality? Or are you tuning in and being like, what's really going to create the most for me, and then therefore also create the most for everyone around me? Pure awareness of what's going on for you and what's going around for others. That's really going to be the thing that creates the third solution, the higher solution that you couldn't think of in the first place. So then there really was no need to put yourself first or put your family first. I hear that all the time too, where people are like, oh, I value people who put their family first. But why does there even need to be putting anyone first? When you honor yourself, it does create the most for everyone. And that does not have to be in a selfish way, because problems don't need to exist. They only exist because of the energy that you're giving off. So if you can come into a higher state of consciousness, there can be a win-win solution for everybody. And just remember that if you yourself are feeling like a little bit selfish, or you feel like those around you are being selfish, remember that it does have something to do with the fear of lack, of inadequacy, or the fear of feeling your emotions. So I would invite you to tune into your body, honor your body in the equation of your life, move through your own emotional triggers, and also remember that that's what the other person is going through as well, and that they are a reflection of you in some way, shape, or form. And I filmed a whole separate video about that, about what the people closest to you reveal about you. So I will also link that one in the description, because it's important to note that if you're bothered by someone being selfish, well, you're a co-creator for everything in your life. So what are you holding on to that is creating this behavior in someone else? Do you have a bit of selfish behavior where you're not truly honoring yourself and you're going about it in this dualistic way rather than in a neutral way? Or are you completely devaluing yourself, and therefore people seem to not take advantage of you, not put you first, not respect your opinions or your feelings, because you're completely devaluing yourself? So I'll put a link to that one in the description, which explains that in much more detail. So I hope this video was helpful and explains to you the difference between being selfish and honoring yourself, and you can start to incorporate these things in your life whenever you start to feel the need to put yourself first, or if you strongly feel the need to put someone else first, or if someone else is doing that and that is triggering you because you feel like they're being selfish. I hope that this video was helpful. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the bell button if you want to be notified the next time I upload a video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.